The Unchained archetype. Only one thought remained that day. Destroy everything. Long ago, a sorcerer lived in a village fraught with danger. However, the power the sorcerer possessed was not enough to protect his home. So, he went on a journey. When he returned having mastered the arts of Taoism, achieving immortality and true power. With this newfound strength, he used his soul to summon his Shikigami. Together, the two eradicated the threats that plagued the village. Not one creature could oppose them. In fact, with the strength that they both wielded, no one could oppose them ever again. After the dust settled, while happy at first, the village slowly began to realize that this incredible power the sorcerer wielded, well, it could be turned against them if the man's whims ever so desired it. And so, they began a plot. They led the hero into a dark recess with false smiles and praise. When his guard was truly down, in almost the blink of an eye, they sealed him away forever. The villagers had hoped the sorcerer would remain in his cage until his dying day. However, this would not be the case. The sorcerer's teachings had led him to believe that since human life is only a small fraction of the larger world, then the only human actions that make sense are those which go with the flow of nature. With time to mull things over, the sorcerer now believed that the humans embody the very opposite of this teaching. They exist only to serve their own selfish desires. And so, only one thought remained. The sorcerer would seep some of his soul out of the cage, splitting it into the embodiments of his anguish and hatred. The seal had lingering effects on these two entities, however. Their eyes and limbs were still bound. Their minds were that of children, innocent in nature, but also equally as capable of cruelty. The two would immediately set about unlocking the various seals of the sorcerer. With each seal that they destroyed, more of their own seals would be removed. And what would happen to any that got in their way? Well, they'd be destroyed. When more power was required, they attempted to summon the master's Shikigami. However, its form had changed. For you see, the soul of the sorcerer was now twisted and polluted with beastly thoughts. And so, the Shikigami's form reflected this. The summon was successful. However, the Shikigami too was locked away, and so its form was merely ethereal. To solve this, each of the twins would merge with the Shikigami to give it physical form. And through both using this power, they would break every last seal, until only one remained. In its path, however, was an army. Together, the twins would pour everything they had into the Shikigami, transforming it into a hulking monstrosity, imbued with the souls of the sorcerer's rage and anguish. With each step this abomination took, it would reduce all around it to mere rubble. And so began the march to the final seal. And when this final seal should break, the world will truly know destruction. First released in 2019's Chaos Impact set, the Unchained Archetype are a purely Fiend-type series of main and extra deck monsters that specialize in one thing and one thing only: destruction. This is because every single card in the archetype contains the word destroy somewhere in their card effect. But that's not all this deck does. It also possesses the unique ability to link summon using one of the opponent's monsters for materials, with each new link form being more destructive than the last. Poetically then, it is fitting that the archetype is named Hakai in the Japanese. Hakai literally translates to us as destroy. Hakai. But the question then becomes, what are all the cards in this archetype? Well, let's start first with the original sorcerer, Abominable Unchained Soul, known in the Japanese as the bipolar Unchained God. You can only special summon this monster once per turn. If a card you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summoned, you can discard one card, destroy one card on the field. Once per turn, during the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was destroyed on the field and sent there this turn, you can special summon this card, but place it on the bottom of the deck when it leaves the field. Going by this monster's Japanese name of bipolar, this could possibly mean one of two things in terms of its lore. One, since bipolar disorder is characterized as extreme mood swings that include emotional highs and lows, perhaps the sorcerer suffered with this disorder, and this perceived ailment, combined with the threat of someone wielding so much power, maybe that was the reason why the villagers decided to turn on him. Then again, it is possible the use of the word bipolar and this monster's name could allude to the sorcerer's shift from a happy hero to an enraged villain due to his experiences. As mentioned in the lore, this monster mastered Taoism to achieve his great power and immortality. But what is Taoism? Well, it's an ancient Chinese philosophy and religion that instructs believers on how to exist in harmony with the universe. Basically, it's all about going with the flow of the world and refusing desires to participate in human affairs. Now, when the sorcerer was in his prime and he summoned his Shikigami to aid him in battle, it was in the form of that of Unchained Twins Sarama. You can target one Unchained card in your graveyard, except this monster, set it to your field. Then destroy one card you control. If this card on the field is destroyed by card effect, except Unchained Twins Sarama, or by battle, you can special summon one Unchained monster from your hand or deck, except Unchained Twins Sarama. Sarama, Rakia, Arbor, all three of these monsters share the effect that if this card on the field is destroyed by card effect, except by itself, or by battle, you can special summon one Unchained monster from your hand deck, except for itself. So for the rest of this video, we won't mention that effect, but just assume that it applies to all the rest. Now, Sarama is a Shikigami. But what is a Shikigami? Well, it's a ghost or spirit summoned by a Japanese sorcerer. They will always follow their master's bidding, and are normally invisible to the human eye. However, they can be bound to paper dolls to give them form. This property of Shikigamis could be an allusion to how the twins are able to merge with the Shikigami to give it a more physical form and more power. It's worth noting that since this monster was summoned through its master's soul, it wears very similar clothing to him as a reflection. There are some unique aspects to this monster though, which carry on over to its more monstrous forms. These are things like the unique tattoos, the horns, and the red eyes. Now, when the original sorcerer split his soul and his power, it became the personifications of his rage and anguish. These two entities would become Rakia and Arua. You can see the split referenced by the monster's attacks. The original sorcerer has 3,000. When he splits himself in half, both monsters get 1,500 each. So let's take a look at these twins, shall we? First up is Unchained Twins Rakia, known in the Japanese as Unchained Child Rakia. Quick effect, you can target one card you control, destroy it. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn, except fiend monsters. Unchained Twins Arua, in the Japanese as Unchained Child Arua. You can target one card you control. You cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except fiend monsters. Also, destroy the targeted card, and if you do, special summon this card from your hand. Now, when these two were outside of the seal and they attempted to summon their original forms Shikigami, Sarama, instead, Unchained Soul of Disaster appeared, known in the Japanese as Destruction God Magatama. Its effect is it gains 300 attack for each Unchained card in the graveyard. You can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Immediately after this effect resolves, Link summon one Dark Link monster using only this card you control, and that opponent's monster as materials. If this card on the field is destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can target one Unchained monster in your graveyard, except Unchained Soul of Disaster, special summon it. You'll notice that this monster has 0 attack, as it wields no power on its own, because it doesn't have a physical form. However, with its in-game ability to fuse with another monster on the field, specifically on the opponent's side of the field, that is a reference to how Shikigamis bind themselves to things to give them form. When each of these twins merge with this monster, they can give it power depending on which one merges with it. The first is Unchained Soul of Rage, known in the Japanese as Destruction God Regia. Requires 2 monsters, including an Unchained Soul monster. During your opponent's main phase, quick effect, you can target 1 face-up special summon monster your opponent controls. Immediately after this effect resolves, link summon 1 Dark Link monster except Unchained Soul of Rage by using only that opponent's monster and discard you control as material. If this card on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target 1 Fiend monster in your graveyard except Unchained Soul of Rage, add it to your hand. Unchained Soul of Anguish, known in the Japanese as Destruction God, Arbor. Requires 2+ monsters, including an Unchained Soul monster. You can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Immediately after this effect resolves, link summon 1 Dark Link monster except Unchained Soul of Anguish by using only that opponent's monster and this card you control as materials. If this card on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target 1 Fiend monster in your graveyard, except Unchained Soul of Anguish, add it to your hand. Finally, when the Shikigami and the 2 souls merge together, they become its ultimate form, Unchained Abomination, known in the Japanese as Destruction Dual King God, Yugioh. Requires 2+ monsters, including a Link monster. If a card on the field is destroyed by card effect, except by Unchained Abomination, you can target 1 card on the field, destroy it. When another monster is destroyed by battle, you can target 1 card on the field, destroy it. During the end phase, you can target 1 card on the field, you guessed it, destroy it. If this beast releases its master, and the master himself decides to merge with his Shikigami, we potentially in the future could get a Link 5 or possibly even a Link 6 version of this monster. In terms of the spells and traps in this archetype, well, they're actually quite simple, as every single spell and trap in the archetype has the effect if the set card is destroyed by card effect, you can special summon 1 Unchained monster from your deck. So just assume that for all of them. Their unique effects are, however, Abomination's Prison, known in the Japanese as Dual God's Chain. Add 1 Unchained card from your deck to your hand. Wailing of the Unchained Souls, known in the Japanese as Wailing of the Destruction Gods. If you link summon an Unchained Link monster, you can target 1 card on the field, destroy it. Abominable Chamber of the Unchained, known in the Japanese as Bipolarity of the Unchained. Special summon 1 Unchained monster from your hand or graveyard. Escape of the Unchained, known in the Japanese as Homily of the Unchained. Target 1 Unchained monster you control and 1 card on the field, destroy both. And with that, that's the Unchained archetype done. This was a really interesting archetype with some really cool lore. But yeah, without further ado, thanks a lot for watching. Catch you later.